Alrighty, we have an older fuse box here. These were popular from like the 50s and 60s, and it was before they had the ground wire in Euromex. But in the 50s, the ground was introduced for like the kitchen circuit. So here in the country I was born in, we use a 12 American wire gauge on 20 amps, 14 American wire gauge on 15 amps. We have a 10 American wire gauge we use on 30 amps. Black is live, red is live, white is neutral, and the bare ground is the ground wire that goes to the cold water pipe coming into the house. Same with inside the house. This is an example of where we use fuses. These are S-type fuses that came out probably in the 60s. And I will show you how to remove a fuse stat adapter if it's damaged. So I'll show you with hooking up the first older circuit back, and this wire is probably from the 40s. So I'll show you how they wired the fuse box back then. So you just score down the middle of your jacket here. And then go deeper at the end here. Okay, so this wire is going to be a little tougher, so I'll have to dig down deeper. There we go, we got it all out of our jacket here. And we'll clean out all of our debris. I'll show you where the mains go in after we get done putting wires across the top here. So if you look at this closely here, these two wires are both the same color. They're like white on one side. You flip it over, make it 3/4 turn, it's black. Now this is the same thing here. So they didn't have polarity back then. So, and now this is another older wire. Now this one's a little newer because it has the cloth on the outside and the vinyl on the inside. So I'll cut this open and I'll show you what we have on the inside of this one. There's a string inside here you can pull to get your wire out of the jacket, but it's rotted. And we have vinyl coated conductors here. And this, I'm going to guess, is from the very, very, very late 40s, like 48, 49, and it was common up through the 50s, and possibly into the early 60s when the vinyl coated came in on the inside and the outside. So there's white, which is neutral. Okay, so we'll start with hooking our white wire up. We'll push it back into our corner like we do in the modern breaker boxes, and we'll bend it over, and we'll go to our neutral bar with the white wire here. I'll keep clipping it shorter until it's the right length. We have the right length here. Strip with our 14 gauge hole, like we do on today's boxes. Make sure the wire goes straight through the hole. And we'll tighten our screw up. Okay, so there's our white wire hooked up. Now we'll bring our black wire down. We'll put it back up into our corner like this. We'll come down and we'll come over. And we gotta get it on this screw right here, so we'll strip it where the hole starts right here. And we'll take our screw out. We'll loosen it up. Make our loop around the screw. Get under our screw head. There's a little guide where they want the wire to come up on the side here. So I'll pull the wire back so the copper stays under the screw head the way we want it. And we'll just push it back and get into our corner like that. So that is how, this is a 15 amp S type fuse. Okay, now we'll bring our, now since these two wires are both the same color, it doesn't matter, because see how this is all black on this side? So this was before polarization. So we will put one over here on the neutral bar. So we'll bring it over, bring it up, bring it down, and we'll come right over right here. And I'll strip it with our 14 hole. Make sure you get all your debris off before you put it in, because you don't want to get that cloth into your connection there. Okay, so this is the white wire coming in from the power source. So we'll bring this over here. We'll bring it up. Now we have a hole here that is bigger than all the others, so we'll cut it about right here. I'll use my cutters to just score the conductors so that we don't damage the conductors underneath. I just want to score the insulation and not hit the conductors. And we'll stick that in the bigger terminal up here. And we'll make sure our conductors, all the conductors go through the hole all the way. Make sure they're all through the hole. Okay, we'll tighten that up really nice and snug. Now our power coming in does not matter which two terminals we go to here, because they each carry 120 volts each. So we'll make a loop, and we'll keep a nice loop like this. We'll cut it right about here. Again, I'll just score the insulation. Get the wire into the center of the terminal there, and let the pressure plate go down on it all the way so it's nice and tight. Okay, now we'll make our loop on the black, and we'll cut it about right here. And we'll strip. Again, we'll just score our insulation. This would be number 4 copper coming into the house. All right, so there's our power coming in. Now we'll hook up our second circuit here. We'll push this over to our corner here, bring it down, over, cut it about right here. And we'll put this wire around the screw here. So we'll make a loop the direction our screw turns. These are actually made to put the wire under, just under the side there, but I don't like doing them that way. I'd rather put the wire, get the wire going around the screw so that the pressure is even on the screw head when I tighten it. So I make my loop so it goes around the screw head like that, and I'll bring it up. Close, there we go. Now we got our wire up where we want it. We put our wire back in so it's nice and flat. So that is our second circuit all white. So now we can add another circuit here. Let's connect over here. And put it in here. We'll tighten our Romex connector up so it's nice and tight here. Now we have a damaged S-type fuse stat adapter right here. I'll show you how it started arcing in here. So I'll show you how to remove that. So what you do is you take a pair of cutters, you cut the front of the ring all the way around. And you take your needle nose pliers and you pull this piece out. And when I take the adapter out, I'll show you why it's defective. Because the fuse was loose in here and it arced and it burned the back of the little brass button in the back of the adapter that the fuse makes contact with. So we get our plastic all bent back here, or ring bent all back here. So we'll just take and break the plastic piece off like this, the edge of it, and also we'll be bending back the metal there. See how that metal is bending back there? This way you don't damage the fuse box taking it out. Now I'll take my pliers here and I'll just see if I can pull it out. If I can't, you just take your little screwdriver and just chip it away a little bit at a time. See how a little bit of plastic is breaking away a little bit at a time here? I'm moving this ring out. We'll try with our pliers again and see if we can get it to come out. It's not coming out, you just keep breaking the plastic away. Just chip it away a little bit at a time like that. See how it just comes out a little bit at a time? Now I'm going to start prying it out like that. And I just grab with my pliers and pull the insert out like that. Now you'll see a little barb in here. So I will take my pliers and my screwdriver and get under that barb. See that little barb that came out? This is the little locking barb. Now I can unscrew the adapter. Might take a little while to get it out. You gotta just be patient with it. See how it's turning? I'll see if I can turn with my pliers like this. See, I'm grabbing the jagged edges of the adapter. And the adapter ring just came out. There's the inside of the adapter. That is the reason we took it out. Okay, now we can hook another circuit into this box. This one has a ground wire. And we'll stick it in through here like this. I want to make sure I get enough wire to come up to my neutral bar. This is how I'd be wiring it back in the 1950s, in the early 60s if I was alive then. You know what? I don't see my knife. I had it right in my hands a couple minutes ago. And it fell down. Okay, so I'll strip our wire here. Now this is probably again from the very late 50s, early 60s. Yeah, let's tear the score our outer jacket, going down the middle carefully, not to hit the wires underneath. Okay, we'll take all our jacket off, get all our debris out. And there's our ground wire. This is thinner than the two number 12 conductors we have underneath. Okay, so like in the breaker boxes, we're going to put our neutral wire down in the corner here. We'll bend it over and go into our neutral bar like this. Make sure the copper goes through the hole all the way. Okay, now we'll go to this fuse, which will be a 20 amp. So we're going to put our ground wire down through here, and we'll bend it up. We'll come over right into this one. Just cut a little off here, because I don't want it too long. All right, there's going to be the right length. Stick it in our hole here. We'll push it back into our corner. Now we'll put it on this fuse here, which is going to be a 20, so we'll bend it down. We'll come up to where we're going to go to our fuse. We'll clip it about right here. We'll strip it to nice and long so we get it around our screw. Another way I can do it is take the screw completely out. Make our loop the direction our screw turns. Now this wire, they like it to come up from the bottom on this design. Get a nice loop there like that. Put our screw through the wire there. There we go. Now we'll look at some fuses. These are blue on the inside and blue around the outside, depending on the make. Those would most generally be a 15 amp. That is blue. That one is blue. That one is blue. When they're orange, those are the 20 amps, and green would be a 30 amp. So we're going to look and see if we have a 20 we can put in here. If we don't, you can always put 15 amp on a 12 gauge wire, but you cannot put a 30 amp. Now on a number 10 wire, you can put a 15, 20, or a 30. With number 12, you can only put a 15 or a 20. And with 14 gauge wire, you can only put a 15 amp fuse. So I'll just show you how to put a fuse in. We'll just screw in like this. Okay, now we can wire another circuit in. So I'm going to try enough to come up to our neutral bar with a light. And we'll screw our wire coming down through the middle right here. And we have a ground wire on this wire here. Okay, so like in the modern breaker boxes, you push your ground to the back like this, come to this corner, bring it up, and we'll bend it over, and we'll go into that hole up here. there we go. There's our ground wire. We'll get our white wire over here. We'll go back to the back of the box here. Bring it over, bring it down. Keep it down in the corner there. Bend it over, and we'll cut it right here. You can see on the writing here it says number 12 type TW, and it is rated for 600 volts. Okay, it's still a little long. Here's the right length. So we can pull here. Get back into the corner like that. And I'll just make sure our terminals are tight. Let's go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now we can hook our black one up to this fuse here, so we can take it, we'll push it down into our corner here, we'll bring it around, we'll bring it over to here, and we'll cut it about right here. We'll strip our insulation off like that. Okay, so we'll make our loop. So we'll put the wire around our screw. Okay, so you always put your wire around the screw, the direction that your screw turns. And our opening is at the top, so we'll bend it down up in here. And we'll close our loop this way, like that. See how I got it like that there? That's the way I want it, like that. And there it is. Now, the way the box is designed, they made it so that you can just put the wire, strip the end of the wire like this, and put it under the screw head like this. And I'll bring the camera up close after we are done, because I don't really like this idea. So that's why I always like to, okay, I have to shorten that up just a little bit. When I tighten the screw up, it doesn't give even tension under the, or even pressure around the screw head all the way. So when I'm all done, I'll bring the camera up close and show you why I don't do it that way. So next, we're going to hook up a two wire outlet, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so this is your older 2-wire wiring. So we will put a Romex connector in here like this. Okay, so we have enough wire to go around our neutral bar. Now I'm just scoring through the top of this cloth jacket. Now I go deeper at the very end. Keep your knife going down the middle so you don't cut your conductors. Not really good, not gonna work. Now this wire is a little different on the inside. Instead of the paper, it has a cloth around the outer conductor. So there's a black. The other one did not have this cloth, or didn't come off. The other one was just permanently attached to the wires. So this is probably a little bit newer because they came out with the color coding. Black always being live, white being neutral. It takes a little time to get it all off. Some of this older wire had a paper that was wrapped around it too. It came off like this. There's our black. And here's our white. Takes a little time to get all this off. This is probably from the 40s. all your debris off. Okay, now we'll put our white over here on the neutral bar. We'll bend it down like we do. All our other wires, we'll bring it up. We'll come over and we'll go in right here. Wire's just a little long, so let's go a little shorter. Make sure our conductor goes through the pressure terminal there. Put it in, push it back into our corner the way we want it. Now we'll bring our black wire up here and we'll put it on our fuse. So we'll push it down to our corner again like that. Bend it over, bring it over to where we're going to go to our fuse. So we're going to make our strip where my finger is. So I'm going to cut it like right here. And I'm going to strip off a good portion here. So it is a bigger screw. Angle it up. And I'll go around it so it goes under our screw head all the way. Let's see if we get to go under without taking the screw out. This is 14, so it's lighter. It's a lighter gauge wire. Okay. So I see the wire under there. I'll take my screwdriver and I'm going to take the screw out. Close my screw wire around the screw the direction my screw turns. And pull it back, make sure our wire stays under the screw head all the way around. And there it is, that's what we want. Now we're going to put our 2-prong outlet up here. We're going to put it over here. So I'll strip my wire here and get it ready. And I'll show you our two options when you do not have a ground wire. So we get our wire out of our jacket here. We'll take our paper or cloth off here. There's our white, which is neutral. We'll put it into our box. Okay, so you have two options. You can use a two-prong receptacle, or you can install a GFI. I'll show you the GFI first. Okay, there's no green screw since there's no ground on this. So you'll strip your wire, your 14 wire, using your 14 gauge wool. There's a strip gauge on the back, so I'll strip it according to my cut it according to my strip gauge here. So I'll clip it at the end of the strip gauge. You'll see where it says line and load, and since we're not using the load, we'll just take our, since this is just a tutorial, I'm going to leave that tape on there, but in real life we would take and tighten those screws so they don't wobble around and touch something inside the box. So you would take and put the black is live, will go on the brass screw, which is the narrow slot, the white, which is neutral, will go to the silver screw, which is the wider slot, and the ground would be U-shaped. So we'll put our wires on here. We'll put our black on the brass, like this. And we'll put our white on the silver like this. And there's what the back looks like all done. And our other option is now in real life I would have tightened the screws much tighter and the box would have been deeper. Our other option would be the replacement two-prong receptacle. So we'll close the screws we're not going to use. Okay, so again, you put the white on the silver colored screw. Make your loop the direction the screw turns. Close at the direction the screw turns. Now put a dryer black on the brass colored screw. Close the wire around the screw the direction the screw turns. Make sure you don't get the insulation under the screw head. And you just put that in the box. Okay, now we're going to hook up a sub fuse box from the main fuse box. So this is 10-3, red, black, white, and a ground. So this could be for an electric dryer. Be nice if I knew where my cutters were. Very, very nice to know where they are. If I don't, I don't. But they fell right here. So you cut your jacket off. Get all our debris out of here. In your jacket. Now back in the 50s and 60s, you did not have the bare ground wire, so I'm going to would have been just a red, black, and a white. And like since the late 60s, the ground wire came in. So we will put our white wire and our ground wire over here on this neutral bar. So again, we'll push it back to the back of our box here. Bring it down. And we'll push it down into our corner here where we want it. And up. And we'll go over and we'll go into our neutral bar. Okay, we'll strip it with our number 10 hole. And it will go in this hole right here. And we'll take our ground wire, push it back to the bottom of our box. We'll bring it over. We'll bend it down into the corner here. And we'll push it back so it's nice and neat here. And we'll push it down and we'll bend it up. We'll go over and we'll go right into our neutral bar. And we'll put it right in here with this white wire. Ideally, you'd want to put it in a separate hole, but we only have one hole left. So we'll put them together side by side to make sure our insulation doesn't get under the pressure plate or under the terminal there. And now we got it in place. So let's push our wires back. Okay, now these are what they call the takeoff lugs here for a subfeed. So we can take our red. We'll see if it's long enough to move to this one. Just long enough. So we'll strip it right here. We'll take our screw out. We'll bend it up where it's going to go under our screw head. We'll make our loop the direction our screw turns here. Put our screw in through the wire there. We'll close our loop, make sure our insulation doesn't get in the way there. There's our red. We'll push it back in. Now we'll get our black wire. We'll push it down into our corner like this. And we'll bring it up and we'll bend it over where we're going to go into our terminal here. So we'll cut it about right here. Strip our wire. Okay, we can go in through we gotta go through the top. So we'll take our screw out. I'll bend it down, down. Now we're gonna make our loop the direction our screw is going to turn here. Put our wire through the screw and close the loop the direction our screw turns like that. And put it back into here. pull up on it so that the copper stays under the screw head all the way around. Make sure it's really tight. And make sure this one's really tight. And make sure our copper is under the screw heads all the way around. So that is how we hook this up. So now we'll come over and we'll hook the other end into our other fuse box over here. Alrighty, so now we can hook up into this other fuse box, which is going to go to an electric dryer or a water heater or a very, very large air conditioner. So we'll just strip our outer jacket off here. Careful not to cut into the conductors. Now, in the 50s and 60s, they did not have the ground wire, but they did have this fuse box for like an electric dryer or air conditioner, or something with a big electric motor. So we have our white, which is our neutral, our bare wire, which is the ground, our black, which is alive, and our red, which is alive. So we will hook, we'll strip with our number 10 hole. Now it doesn't matter which side you put the two red wires on. You always put your line power to the top of the knife switches in these older fuse boxes. So there's our red. Bring our white down. I'll bring it down here. come up. I'll go into our neutral bar. The white will go in the neutral bar here. And if you did not have this ground wire, you would take and put a bonding screw in this hole here, which would be a green threaded screw. And you would bond the box with the white wire. But if there is a ground wire, you would take the bonding screw out. And use a green screw, which will go right in here. That's threaded. That is not threaded for that size. Let's see if this one up here is threaded. No, that's not threaded. Let's try this one. That one's not threaded either. But you would buy a ground bar and you would put it on either that hole or that hole there, and you'd put your ground wire there. Because if you have the third ground wire, you have to keep the ground and the neutral separated. And finally, the black will go over on this other terminal here. Make sure your wire is nice and straight so you can put it in your hole. Okay, so make a nice little loop. There's the perfect length we want. Then you would hook up your load to the 220, 240 volt appliance. One here, live wire here, the other live wire here, and the neutral here. And I'm going to look and see if we have a ground lug to put on there just to show you what it looks like. But if we don't, we don't. Okay, I did happen to find a ground bar and a threaded screw to go in that matches that hole there. So you grounded this box with the ground wire, and you come over. And you just flip it like that. And you push the ground wire through the terminal there. You turn it all the way through. Make sure it's all nice and tight. Then you hook your load up, your live, and your live, your neutral, and your other ground wire will go up here, and this ground is bonded to the box. Alrighty, so thanks for watching. That is how to wire the older fuse boxes here in the country I was born in. And your options of putting in a outlet on the older two-wire wiring and how to remove a fuse stat adapter. Now I'll show you how to put the main fuses back in, and I will give you a close-up view of the fuse boxes all wired. This is your pull-out for your main. They just sit in like this. These are 60 amps. And it just goes in your fuse. This way is off. You can have it sitting in there, and that's off. Turn it around. Put it in this way. Or is this way off? Oh, this way is on, so just make sure they're in there straight like this. So this way is off. So you can have it sitting in there like that and the power is off. And you turn it around like this. And you put it in. And you'll feel them lining up and they'll push in flush like that. And that's when they're on. So I will bring the camera up close and show you up close. That is the quick wire way. I don't like that because it's not even pressure on the screw head on the top. That is my preferred method of putting the wires around the screws. And that is how the connections are done at the top. That is the neutral ground bar there in a main panel.